And
we're live.
We're live. We're live. We're live
Yes.
again.
Good morning, Daphne.
Good morning, Nita. it's Friday.
It is Friday, July. Oh God,
Right.
I almost said June again. It is Friday, July 8th, 2022, and you're watching the Ragin 2 the vlogs.
Right.
Still a mouthful.
No, I love the fact. No, but I love it that I just recently realized that oh my God,
TR2TV.
Yeah, I can talk to it. You know what? Run the intro, and I'll get myself together.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo-kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
Oh crap. Oh. All right, you know what? That didn't want to play, so here we are.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, and also for everybody who is just watching that Projectile Reptile bump, if you go to the Indiegogo and sign up, I think, what was it? If you're the first,
I think it was the first 100 to sign up or something.
Yeah, to sign up, you get a refrigerator magnet. I think you have to sign up to pledge.
You have to sign up to pledge, and then when he goes live, you have to back the campaign.
Right, and you get a refrigerator magnet of the Chibi Projectile Reptile.
But you can find out all the details if you go back to June 27th episode.
Right. Mm-hmm. Where we interviewed
Dojo-kun.
Dojo-kun, tomato, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so because I was trying to find my post, because I have everything on Post-its. So the acronym, good morning, Joe. The acronym to our show is TR2TV. I didn't even realize that. The Ragin 2 the vlog. So I just found it funny. Wow, we're an actual channel. Right. Oh, cool. Yes. For those of you who don't know, I did an article for, I guess, the upcoming issue of Comics Unlimited, which is a British comics magazine run by Glenn Fleming. And I'm looking forward to seeing it too. It's an article about how pretty much Eagle Raven came to be and how I decided to tackle writing her story when I decided that she had to be more than just than a website mascot. So I think it's an interesting story. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to this lovely Friday, and I'm hoping that whatever construction is going on next door, you guys can't hear. But we'll go through. You know, we'll make it through. We'll make it through. So hello, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the medieval fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which is in its final days on Kickstarter. The campaign is running until Wednesday, and I think around 11:30 a.m. So you have these last couple of days to pledge to the campaign and help me break open another stretch goal, the last of the trading card stretch goals. And maybe if we're feeling really lucky, we can reach 4K and everyone will get the metal bookmark. So, I don't know. A lot can happen. A lot can happen in what, 4 days, 3 days. So let's see how that goes. And you can and I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is also on Kickstarter right now in pre-launch. The actual campaign launches August 22nd, 2022. This is Eagle Raven, the first 4 issues of the series collected in its first trade paperback. I mean, really, already, we're at a trade paperback already. So even I can't believe that. In the meantime, you can read both of my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and eagleworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art, which simulcasts through the Ragin 2 network. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, you hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever my show, this show, all our shows goes live through the network. So we got something for everybody. So so make sure you do all the things to make the algorithm gods happy. So Nita, tell the peoples who you are.
I had to come back and tab. I was working.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I'm trying to get the behind the scenes stuff taken care of. My name is Nita Lanning. I'm the blue-eyed savage and mouth of the South. I am CEO and executive producer of the Ragin 2 broadcast network.
Oh, there we go. It's like, our little name tags are missing. So I know, right? So so for everything, so pretty much for all my campaigns. Oh, there we go. Now I don't feel so naked.
You almost saw our bits.
All our campaigns, all the campaigns, links to the channel, everything is in the show notes below or in the chat. So either way, the links are floating around somewhere.
They're everywhere.
Right. So a little housekeeping. Also, speaking of campaigns, don't forget that JD Calderon's has a campaign also going right now for the Oswald Chronicles. If I were a few inches taller, so this starts a new short story series from the Oswald Chronicles. And I think he has 9 days left to go. So he still he just funded. Yeah, so he just funded. So we're all good. At least we got over that hump.
81 backers.
Yeah, and now it's just hitting stretch goals. So so again, links are in the show notes for that. Let's see. You want to handle the cards now, or are you still doing back end?
I'm back.
You're still back. Okay. You're still doing back end stuff. You see, it's all work here. It's all work here. Also, I just want to thank, because I learned some things yesterday. I just want to thank all of you cheeky monkeys out there for making House of Bob the #1 show on the Ragin 2 network. We're #1 in engagement, and we're #1 in replays. So thank you so much, everybody, for proving that we can do an adults-only stream. That not only is it obvious you guys are having fun watching, but you're having fun listening to, because Nita's telling me that the places that have the highest engagement is actually not the artwork, but it's us babbling.
It really is. That's where people like the most replayed segments are us talking shit.
So I'm really happy with that. I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying the House of Bob night stream. For those of you who don't know, House of Bob is a special once a month show that we do. It goes from 10 p.m. to midnight on the last Saturday of every month. The next episode will be on July 30th, where our topic will be monster boyfriends and other fuckable creatures. So as you can tell, it like I said, it's an adults only live stream, and it's me drawing artwork and having conversations with Nita. That's not appropriate for the day crowd. So like I said, I want to thank everybody for pushing the show the way you are, and keep doing it. And there's a lot more hidden furries out there than you all want to admit. So I'm very chuffed with that. So
and the fur curious are welcome too.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you very much for, I guess, making our little experiment worth it. Worth doing. So we have fun, and so will you. So any more housekeeping? Let's see. What do we got?
You got JD. That's what we got.
I've
got some stuff coming. I'll be adding cards for next week.
Oh, okay. So anything you want to mention now, or
Haslam Productions, Tina and Rodney are putting out Roadkill Rampage 3. It's about to launch on Kickstarter. I'll post that link in comments. That's coming soon. Let's see. Yeah, that's and we've got Mike Jimmy has the Radiant site, Marv V has the Sin Killer. I'm gonna post all those links for you guys. Got my brain scrambled right now.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of good shit out there. And I'll have more cards for you guys on Monday.
Yeah. So that's just a lot going on. Yeah, but I was pretty chuffed by that. I mean, I still kind of like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I'm just happy that everybody likes the way,
Well, I guess we answered our own question. We're like, does sex really sell? Yeah, it does.
Well, but also it's like, but the thing is, obviously it's not just about that, because like you said, it's like our most replayed segments are us talking. Not actually the part where I'm doing artwork, and it's just funny. I don't know. It's like that there's hope in the world for me, I guess.
There was always hope for you, Daphne.
Yeah, I know. Really.
Gosh.
I mean, yeah, it's like, well, this week, especially this week, has been kind of like weird, just in general with our campaigns going and whatnot. And yeah, this, I don't know. It's like this thing, especially what I learned this week. This is for everybody doing a campaign to tell the story that they want to tell. This is for all of you with the passion projects that are finding out that it's a little bit of a hard sell.
Right.
So it's like, so yeah, so we were going over some numbers this week, because we had, like I said, we have 2 campaigns going on in the house. It's we have the Oswald Chronicles, and we have Tall Tales, running right now. Again, links in the show notes. And every time we do a campaign, it's like, what I remember hearing somebody actually did a count, and it's like just JD alone has run like 30 something Kickstarters. So it's like, holy crap. Like, even I was surprised, because I just stopped counting. It's like, we just run Kickstarters and that's it, and the thing is, though, it's like, and this especially dovetails with an article that, an interview that I have on the Comics Tribe blog. We had mentioned it on Monday, so, I'm sure Nita will put the link again. Or if you go to my Facebook page, the link is there as well to this article. And one of the things that I had mentioned is every time we do a campaign, like I said, JD's done 30 something, and mind you, I've helped with all of them, so it's not like, but every time we run a campaign, there's always something new. And like we never seem to learn. We never seem to learn the secret to running the perfect campaign. Like it's always that thing that's eluding us. So here's the thing. So of course, because it's like we want to know how to improve our campaigns every time we run them. We're always studying the numbers, studying the algorithm, looking at similar campaigns online. It's like every campaign that we see, we're learning from, no matter what it is, whether they're successful or whether they failed, we're learning something from them. Everything is either something we can utilize, or it's a warning to others, kind of thing. That's how we look at it. And to be a little transparent, because I think it's important that that when we're talking about how to run campaigns and teaching people to run campaigns, well, not that I'm actively teaching people, but I just like to talk about it, and then you bring in, it's like, and then you take what you need from what we say. And I have to admit, these two campaigns that we're running, the Tall Tales and this most recent Oswald, they've been kind of tough. It's been it's like these campaigns, I don't want to say they're completely struggling. I mean, they both funded, their books are done, they're ready to print. We're not, that's not what we're concerned about, but the pattern, the trajectory, it was APOPs, was not to our expectations.
Right.
So, so it's like, so we started studying a bit. Usually we wait until after a campaign, but this was kind of bothering us enough that we're like, okay, let's start poking at the body now. Let's see what we can try to fix midstream. To see if we can kind of like breathe some life into this, so that we can kind of like move forward. And the reason why I bring up the hard sell books, the people who aren't just looking at Kickstarter as an easy way to make money, like saying, okay, if I do X kind of book, I'm going to, and I get these artists and I advertise it this way, that I'll be able to make money off of this thing with minimal effort. Right. Where they're looking at Kickstarter campaigns like a checklist, and then they're catering accordingly.
Right.
And where I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about people who do that. I'm talking about the rest of us who we got into doing comics because we had stories to tell. Yeah, we love comics, and we have stories to tell. Right. And we want to share these stories. And a lot of us, unfortunately, learn the hard way that, when you want to follow your own passion, your own road, not everybody wants to follow you readily on it. And it's a lot harder to find your audience. They're there. You
just have to find them.
It's like there was a cartoon that I saw where somebody says, even, it's like people who like what you like, even if the people who like what you like is 1 in a million, that's still 7,000 people. So there's at least 7,000 people out there that we're trying to reach that may like our stuff. So, you see what it is, like I'm trying to word this without sounding like a downer. That's the thing, that's the thing. Because it's not about being like resentful of these people or being a hater.
No, because if you're in it for the money, that's fine. But please don't be one of those that you can tell, obviously, when you're looking at their campaign, that it is a money-driven campaign. There's nothing wrong with a money-driven campaign.
Right.
But please don't say it's your passion project when it's something you thought of 30 fucking days ago.
Right.
Just to make money. Right.
you know, but at the same time, yeah, but at the same time too, they shouldn't be surprised that people are resentful of them. You know, that it's like, you know, that we're here trying to hone our craft, and they're just coming in with whatever bullshit that's trendy, and then it's like, and then they're like, oh, you know, I'm good at this, you
I'm
know,
an
it's like,
artist, and I
right,
have
yeah, it's
great
like
marketing skills, and
right,
yeah,
you know, I mean, it's like, just like I have no, it's like there is no guarantee that people will like my stuff, nor do I have a right to that audience. They don't have a right to my respect either. You know, it's like when they come out with a money grab, but they want to pretend that they're part of the community, and it's like, no, I can see right through you, and you know, but like I said, I'm trying not to make this negative. So there was one thing that we realized, that we kind of learned at first accidentally, and then we were like going, oh shit, this works. So there's this whole thing, and it's like, look, if you're into these type of books, bully for you. I'm not. It's just that.
just say it, Daphne. We like tits and ass too.
Right, yeah. It's like, okay, so look, we know that titty books do really, really well on Kickstarter, you know, for the most part. You know, and the thing is, though, is that for the type of books that me and JD do, I mean, even though I did do a nude cover, you know, more as a laugh than anything. But the thing is, though, you know, I liked doing it. I liked having it, you know, so it's not like, you know, so it's like, it still fit the vibe of the book. But, you know, the thing is, though, what we were inadvertently noticing is that when you look at a Kickstarter and you see that image, your front image, right? When you see that front image on a Kickstarter, I don't know. I'm beginning to think that is probably, out of everything in a Kickstarter, that image that you use to promote your book is the most important image you can put out there for your campaign.
Right.
I noticed this when I got Jaden to do the cover, the variant cover for Eagle Raven number 3. Was it 3?
Yeah.
It was 3.
Yeah.
No, 4.
Was it 4?
It was 4.
Yeah, because 5 is coming. Okay, yeah, 5 is what she's working on now.
And I switched it out because I just really liked it so much. And I switched it out, and within a couple of hours of me switching out that image, the campaign got a bump, right? And it was so noticeable that I kept that image up for the rest of the campaign, because my idea was that I was going to switch it back and whatnot. But the bump was so noticeable that I was like going, there's something going on here. And the thing is that, so JD was having an issue, you know, again, it's like he was kind of like, oh, my thing is my campaign is not, you know, performing the way it should. And, you know, and we were like going back and forth with and what happened? Well, first he had an existential crisis. First he had that, where he was a little worried that it's like, do I have to actually make a titty book to get attention, to raise money to do more Oswalds? And I had told him, it's like, look, we know that type of book makes money, but here's the thing. If you want to do a book like that, that's going to be time and art and money you're pulling away from Oswald to do this book, on the chance that formula works for you.
Right.
You know? And, you know, and it's like, are you willing to do that? You know, it's like, are you willing to pull those resources away? Which at this moment, you know, it's limited. It's not like we could just come in. I mean, we would have been doing that book already if we could. But it's like, you're taking limited resources away from the book you want to do to put it into a project, a formula project that you're hoping will work for you, you know, to raise more money. And he goes, no, he had to admit that that's not what he wanted to do. So we kind of went back and forth, and the idea of the Kickstarter image popped up, and I was like going, look, maybe we can find middle ground on this. And I go, and we were talking about, what if you changed the image of your Kickstarter, the front, what if you did that, and he was kind of like, oh, it's like, but it's not part of the story. It's not about the story and this, that, and the other thing. And I go, look, forget about whether the image is part of the story. Find an image and put it up there. And so we started experimenting with it. And I started doing that with Tall Tales. And I started digging through my archives, trying to find images. And we started replacing the images. Now, could be coincidence, but every time we replaced the image on that front Kickstarter, there was a bump. So we're sitting there going, is this coincidence? Is this
that's the very first thing people see on the majority of posts.
Yeah, you see, and that's the thing too. So we studied it a little bit more. And what we found, what we're kind of figuring out is that, one, it's like that people will now I remember the story. That did it. He was talking about a campaign, some kind of Alice in Wonderland campaign that was kind of illegally duped on Kickstarter. Some fraudsters took a campaign and duped it. And just by duping it with the image, without doing anything else, they raised $3,000 on a fake campaign. That's what made us started thinking about that image. And it was JD that goes, just that, it's like that image raised them $3,000 just by showing up. And this was a fake campaign. So that's why we started really thinking about the images and whatnot. I told him the story about Jaden's picture. So like I said, we started switching out images, and every time we switched out an image, we ended up with a bump. So we're still kind of freaked out about it, because now what we're thinking is, okay, we have to think of that front image a lot differently than what we were doing before. Before we just thought, you see, and that's it's not a coincidence, and you know what, and we've seen it too many times to kind of like go, it's like, snap, this is actually working, now. But here's the thing, though. Here's the dilemma. Okay, this is the thing that's kind of has us in this weird mood about this, is that we're talking about using artwork that's not technically accurate to what we're selling. Because it's like, my book is not an anime book. As much as I love Jaden's work, that's not what you're getting when you open up the book. You're getting my style.
But you know that once you look at the campaign, but that image draws your attention to the campaign. And once you're inside, you see that. So I don't know. I wouldn't say misleading.
Yeah, you see, but that's the thing. That's us just getting in our heads.
Yeah, no, because no.
Yeah, because it's like, because especially because with Ego Raven, that's why I kind of feel weird that I feel this way. Because with Ego Raven, it's very easy for me to pivot in that direction. Right. In fact, it's like I was already contemplating another nude cover variant for an upcoming campaign, which I decided I was going to offer up with the trade paperback, because the trades were always a tough sell anyway, and I want to see if I can kind of push the numbers on the trade up. But this kind of brings this whole Kickstarter image, brings it up to a whole new level. But the thing is, though, but with JD, though, he's really having a hard time with this concept, because because really what it boils down to is how to sell Oswald without Oswald. And yeah, that's kind of a tough concept right now.
but he's not doing that. He really doesn't even have to do that. He can. You just want to bring attention to the fact that, you know, Diane's sexy,
right?
Like,
You know,
like,
it's
like show her off. Oswald can be there, like, seriously. But even still, it's not misleading because she is still a representation of his book.
right.
The context or position she may find
Right.
herself in may not be directly, but if that character brings you to the campaign,
Right.
and okay, here's an example of misleading.
Okay.
Misleading would be you use a cover artist as your Kickstarter thing. You go in there and you have a ton of fucking covers and pinups and stuff posted, and your interior art's not there. I see it. I like the concept of your little, you sell me with your elevator pitch in
Right.
your campaign, and I'm liking the art. But then the book arrives, and I open it, and it's complete shit. Your
Right.
interiors fucking suck. You spend all your money on covers. Your sequential artist is still in 3rd grade. Like, there you go.
Right.
That's misleading.
Right.
JD needs to get over that. Like,
right. Yeah, because it's like, yeah,
all we're trying to do is get the eyes to open the campaign.
Right. It's kind of like we feel like fishermen at this moment.
Right.
You know, that it's like that Kickstarter image, that front page Kickstarter image is the bait. And now it's like we're realizing that the bait is a lot more important than we realized. And I even kind of hate thinking of it like that, you know, because it's like, because here's the thing that we realized on Kickstarter. The fact that people can save a Kickstarter and share it without opening it.
Right.
You know, which means that all they're looking at is that image. Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was showing. I was trying to find kind of like an idea that maybe would fit more Oswald. And I was showing Jose one of my Lodos Wars books, where it's like, you know, at the end of Lodos Wars, where it's like you have Deedlit and all these like Art Nouveau pieces that have nothing to do with the series or whatnot, the end credit, you know, cards. And it's like, you know, maybe something like this, you know, because that's the thing, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, Diane twerking on the on the Oswald campaign. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. But it has to be catered to a certain aesthetic that we know will attract attention. And what attracts attention on Kickstarter? It's like beautiful women, you know, drawn beautifully, you know,
right.
On, you know, I mean, it's like, because there was like this one, after we were having this conversation, I went to check something on Kickstarter, and the front page of Kickstarter looked like 42nd Street in the 80s. Like, it was just ass, boobs. It was just like
legs.
I was just like, this is exactly what I was talking about.
Right.
That was all the books on the front cover, on the front page of Kickstarter. And it's like, oh, this is the fates mocking me. You know, it's like, really, you know? So here's the thing. So let me ask. Oh, it's like, oh, I didn't even ask who is in the chat. Who's in the chat? We know Pops is in the chat.
There's people in the chat.
There's people
C. Michael Lanning and
right.
Donna's here. Pops, Jody McPhee, Marvy
right.
popped in. Nick is here. I'm here.
Right.
Barely.
So chat. Right. So yeah. So chat.
Art Nation.
You know, it's like, I know there's a lot of you that do their, you know, that do campaigns, you know, crowdfunding campaigns. Now, here's the thing, though. Knowing all this, knowing the type of books that you do, would you consider changing up, like kind of like really changing up your Kickstarter image for the sole purpose of reeling people into your campaign if you knew just doing that gave you a bump. Because in the end, that bump can just mean the algorithm is noticing you, is noticing the attention that you're getting. The more people who bookmark your campaign, the more people who share out your campaign tells the algorithm that there's something about this campaign that it needs to tell more people about.
Yep.
So sometimes it's not even attracting people who actually support your campaign initially, but just getting it in the algorithm, in those algorithm waves, to get it out to more people because it's seeing something happening there. So that's the thing. So would you guys purposefully create a Kickstarter image as bait? I mean, I know I am so wording this board.
Yeah, like
I'm so badly.
No, you just want something that's going to bring eyes to your project, because if you can get
Right.
their attention, that's it. For the most part, if you've
Right.
got good content, that's all you got to do. But there's so much out there. It's just a matter of getting them to click.
Right. You know, because it's like, yeah, like take something like Pops's book, you know, the Cromniverse, right?
Right.
So it's like the two options that I would see, like if you were going to make something clickbait, like they're pretty much where we're making clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. You have to make clickbait, that because if people don't click,
right,
you don't sell.
Right. So with Pop, so you know, take this advice or leave it, I guess, considering I'm just learning this myself. So it's like, so either you get an image of Crom that looks like it's from a movie. Like if you can get one of these anime kids that could draw Crom out to look like it came from like an anime on Netflix, right? Really, really push that, like is this a cartoon?
And they'll click.
Right.
And once they click, there's your
Right.
sell.
Or you have, like, I don't know, like Crom all of a sudden has like a sexy assistant, like, you know, like the mayor from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh God, like a sexy pair of legs with just
Right.
the bottom of the ass cheek curve. And
You know,
whatever you gotta
like
do.
that. Yeah, you know, like all of a sudden Crom has a partner in crime. That's like that's just like
Without bait, you don't catch fish.
right. Yeah. You know, oh my God. You know what? You know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. I didn't even think of that word the entire time. Clickbait. We have to make clickbait. Oh my goodness. I don't know whether I'm like more depressed by this.
No, this is awesome. Seriously. Because that's what it is.
You know, so it's like, yeah, so it's like, so everybody with a campaign, you know, and you think you kind of stalled, you know, like take a look at the image that you're using for your front page and really, really think about, you know, like people who are just scanning Kickstarter. Like you look at that front page and you're just scanning Kickstarter and it's like you're not even getting 30 seconds of attention on there, right? It's kind of like an article that I read about how Netflix makes their thumbnails. And what I didn't know is that Netflix, all their thumbnails that you see whenever you're going, you know, scrolling for whatever to watch while you're eating, that's all done by AI. It's an AI that makes all those thumbnails. Yeah. And it's actually really, really fascinating because what the AI does is that it takes, again, the information from the algorithm. So the algorithm says that people are stopping on these shows or they're stopping on these thumbnails. And it even tracks like where people are watching, like really paying attention to a show.
Right.
And then it takes that information and aggregates it and creates thumbnails based on that. Like when Squid Game was really, really popular, all of a sudden, all these random shows started having thumbnails that was reminiscent of Squid Games. You know? Well, that's true too. You see, that's the thing. That you know what? Honestly, that's the caveat. I'm really I mean, my experience is on Kickstarter, so I am that's pretty
we're
much what I'm talking
generalizing
about.
for Kickstarter because
Right.
that's our platform of
Yeah,
choice.
I mean, it's like, yeah, if I'm sure that someone who is a lot more familiar with running on Indiegogo, probably they see a different pattern. Probably, I don't know, so it's like, but this is the pattern that we're seeing on Kickstarter. Like I said, we have 30 something campaigns under our belt, and honestly, this was kind of the pattern that we had been seeing, but it was in denial about, because it's like what the algorithm is literally asking us to do is to kind of like, well, the crude way of saying it is that how to make your book look like a titty book when it's not a titty book.
Wow.
That's the crude way, right? But the more you think about it, though, it really has to do with aesthetic. Like I said, I was telling JD, make it look like, get one of these kids to make it look like an animation cell, to make it look like it's a Netflix movie, to make it, like really go for that manga cover style or something, like really, really push that aesthetic, make it look really, really
This
pretty.
shit's about to be on Funimation. Well,
Right, exactly. Like, so it really made me rethink how I was going to do my next couple of campaigns. And when I commissioned Jaden to do another cover, I showed her. So I chose the variant cover, but then we were going to make very specific cards for the Kickstarter. And what I was telling her to do is that, well, one, the most important thing, you have to design your image around the play button.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to need a new template.
Right. You're going to need a template because because you don't want that button to be covering up anything important, on your image. No faces, no boobs, no butts. Because you want to show that stuff. So you got to remember, if we're going to design this with intention, everything has to be taken into consideration. So when you're going to purposefully create an image for that Kickstarter front page, you have to take that button into consideration. So just remember, nothing. So if you look at my screen right here, so nothing important should be in the dead center. Everything should be designed so that it shows up on the sides. So that was a thing. So that was the first rule. So it's like, okay, so I showed her how to, okay, so we're going to move the image over. I need you to extend it this way. We're going to have to avoid this area. Don't put anything important there because that's where the button is. And then the whole thing, it's like I want like a really like harem manga aesthetic to go with it. This shit is on, it's in the romance section on Crunchyroll. I want
damn straight
sakura leaves. I want blossoms. I want, floating leaves. I want sparkles. I want the whole thing, it's like, I want this thing to look as pretty as possible.
She's already bringing it.
I want to crank that aesthetic to 11. So you see, there's hope, because it doesn't necessarily mean I have to go all tits out on that.
No, not at all, because Jaden is not drawing that stuff.
Right, exactly. We don't want to be awkward, but it's like, but even, but it's like, but it's we don't need, but it's just like realizing, okay, we don't need to completely go there. It's like, does JD have to focus a lot more on his female characters in the story? Yes, he does. But does it matter that they're not really predominant in the story? No, it doesn't, because that's not the purpose of this image. It's like, we're here to reel them in. We're here to activate, to wake up the algorithm in our favor. And that's kind of like what, so that's been what's like going through my head right now for this past week, really, really thinking about this. Because it's really going to change what my campaigns look like from now on, especially if this works. And like I said, when if it's like, well, you see the thing is, yeah, that's true. Don't overthink it.
Well, the Kickstarter image is your video. That's the one we're talking about. That
Right.
initial click.
Right, exactly. You see, and that's the thing. You see, it's bait, exactly. But that's the whole
Without
point.
bait, you don't catch fish.
Right, and you see, and that's and it's like I said, it sounds kind of like I'm still trying to get over myself, um, you know, with this because like, oh, it's not the intention of my book type of thing, right? But you know what? But the intention is to get more eyes on our Kickstarters.
Right.
Right.
And people see the interiors. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
It's not, there is, it, like I said, it would be misleading if your sequentials were not in your crawl, but they are.
Yeah.
You see what you're getting. So once they click, if they still back, there's no guilt there because they didn't just look at that cover.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You know, like I said, it's just like, this is why, you know, I said that this is for all of us who are doing our passion. You know, that's exactly what it is. You see, that's exactly it, Pops. That I have to separate the marketing for the book. The marketing is not the book. It's like it's kind of like two different animals. It really is. You know, it's like, but you see, but that's why I have to talk about this stuff out loud in front of everybody. Because now I'm not feeling so ooky about it. I still kind of have to get over it, but right. Oh yeah, like a lot of the 80s movie posters. You know, and that's the thing. That, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, how many movies did we pick up at like Blockbuster or even at our local video store just because of the cover?
Right.
And they got us watching
and it was nothing
that had nothing to do with the cover. Does anybody remember the original VHS release of Nausicaa when it was called Warriors of the Wind? Does anybody still remember that? And it had this like crazy ass cover that had nothing to do with nothing, you know, with the video. But we all watched it anyway. You know, it all got us to watch our very first Studio Ghibli movie, right? But the cover had nothing to do with anything, you know. So, I mean, you know, it was just, you know. So this is kind of what we're doing. We're trying to make crazy ass covers so that people will look at our campaigns and read our books, and you know what, and then they can you know, say a silly story like this. It's like, oh yeah, it was because of this unrelated image that I found your campaign and I now found my new favorite book.
Right.
You know, so how many people in the chat like kind of like agree with this? I mean, I know Pop,
from the conversation you could tell, you know
that it's like would you, like, are you going to look at your campaigns and kind of switch up your images a bit, you know, just to see what happens?
You should always switch up your images anyway, even if you're one of those who's like adamant, oh, I'm not going to use anything that's not directly related to my campaign. Okay, fine, don't. But switch them out periodically, at least once a week. Change it, because if you're seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over for 30 days, guess what? People get bored.
Right. And this is the thing too. This is what I want, because that's the thing. Because like, so now
the first image didn't catch somebody's attention, but the second one was like, oh wow, okay.
Right. I'm kind of wondering if doing that, especially changing it up once a week, will do something with that plateau period that everybody goes through.
Well, we're about to find out, huh, Lage?
Yeah, I know. You see, that's because that kind of had me thinking too, because like, you're right. It's like if you see the same image for the next 30 days, right? You know, it's easy
pre-launch period.
Right. You know, that's easy to ignore. But what if there's a new image each week, which means that new people are seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, now you have an image that caught their attention.
Right.
Will that help with the middle part of the campaign, where it always seems to slow down no matter what? So
another thing while we're at it is, I think that changing that descriptive line, that header line that you use after your title, helps a bit too. I've noticed that.
Right. So
like, just tweak it just a little bit, like just a little rewording. You can say the exact same fucking thing, just a little differently. So get out your thesaurus and figure it out.
I mean, but I mean, yeah, I didn't even think of that, that it's like, yeah, if you're going to change out the image, and so if you're going to change the image out every week, tweak everything that's going to end up on that front page. Yeah. Just to kind of, yeah, because, wow. Yeah. You see, I think this is probably one of like the biggest things that we've learned in a while when it comes to this. And it's like, and like I said, I'm still a little freaked out about it, but at the same time, it's like, that's right. It's clickbait. It's just marketing. It's like, it's different from the book, but the whole idea, let's see, I don't know. I mean, I know that Kickstarter doesn't like, they really don't like images that has words on them.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. I started using images that don't have any logos or anything on that. It's just the image.
Facebook also is not liking that.
Right.
They have gotten very strict. If you do not have a grid image checker, be very careful. Limit wording, limit stamps and logos and anything outside of the image.
Yeah, anything that looks like an advertising.
And if anybody needs a grid checker, ask me and I'll send you a link.
Yeah, so it's like, it's like, yeah, so that's, so yeah, so this is, so yeah, so we're going to be like on the next campaign. So for the Eagle Raven Volume 1 trade paperback, I'm already kind of rethinking what I'm going to be doing. And the thing is, though, it's like I have to like get on this ball now so I can have the artwork ready. Because like, yeah, I'm going to need 4 new images just to switch out, right? It's like I'm going to have, but I have to finish the variant cover for, it's not a variant cover for the trade paperback. What I'm doing is that I'm going to be offering up a reissue of issue 1 with a new nude cover on it. So this would be kind of like part 2. So if you got the first nude cover, this would kind of be the next one in the series. So there's going to be a reissue of that you could only get with the trade paperback. It's not going to be an add-on. It's going to be part of a level. So if you want to collect this particular issue, you have to get the trade paperback. Because like I said, I'm trying to figure out how to push the trade paperback sales more, because they always don't, they always don't do as well.
No, floppies do better. Yeah,
floppies do better. I think it's the collectability of it.
Right.
So yeah, people really like that. So, that's just what it is. And you know what? And in the end, that's what this is too. That I just kind of have to like, yeah, I'm going to need separate images for the Kickstarter, front of the Kickstarter. And that's just what it is. So the trick is to know, is to figure out what aesthetic works the best. It's like, will the romantic manga style work better than just like a straight up sexy piece, like a pinup or right. Something for that, And here's the thing too. For those of you who are thinking that you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to be wasting my time making these images just for the front. No, you're not, because you know what you could do. You offer them up as like postcards.
Stretch goals.
Yeah, stretch goals. It's like, so so those same images are in the campaign itself. So it doesn't feel like it's like they only see the image on that front page and then that's the last time they see it. So do an image that you can offer up as like either a trading card or a postcard or something. Yeah, put it up as a stretch goal. So that it's there. So if the people who really like that image, they have that option to get that as well, as a physical thing, whether it's a stretch goal or an add-on or something, it's like, pretty much, incorporated into the campaign somehow. So it feels less like bait.
Right.
It's, so yeah, so that's what we've been kind of like going back and forth, really like thinking and planning. Like this is, like I said, this is going to change our campaigns from this point on. It's like maybe the campaigns now we can't really do anything with, because it's a little late in the game, but the next campaigns have a chance, that we can start switching out images, seeing what's worked, do literal A/B testing, pretty much. Which images, people tend to resonate with more. So, and then it's like hopefully by the end of these campaigns, we will learn more about what attracts people to our campaigns. It's like what makes the algorithm happy. It's like what makes people want to save the campaign and share it and whatnot. It's like what makes people stop. That you go to that front page, you do like a search for comics, there's 5,000 entries there. What makes you stand out of that 5,000 people running campaigns at the same time? And it's like it's not something that us as artists, we like to think of ourselves as, oh, I'm an artiste, marketing is so lowbrow. But unfortunately it's the reality of what we do. It's like we don't exist in a vacuum. We need to get eyes on our projects, and especially if we have hard sell passion projects that doesn't fit the algorithm, that doesn't fit a checkbox, a checklist in and of itself. It's like we have to do, it's like if we want more people to look at our stuff, we need to do whatever it takes pretty much to get our stuff out there, to get more people reading our stuff and supporting our stuff, right? In the end, that's kind of the point. It's not, I'm not talking about the Netflix deal. I'm not talking about, I'm only coasting until a movie studio buys me out. It's like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, I want to jump from, like the last Eagle Raven, I think I had like 153 backers. It's like, I want to double that. It's like, how do I get more people to read my book? How do I get to 200 backers, 250 backers, 300 backers? How do I do that? And it's like, okay, if I kind of cater the artwork, let's see, okay.
Nude cover.
Right. Well, you see, the thing is, though, the nude cover is going to be its own level. It's not like you have to.
No,
like if you
but that'll just draw people in.
Right. If you want the trade paperback is going to be its own level. It's like it's just going to be normal. But then there's going to be, I don't know. I'm just pulling this out of my ass. $100 level where it's the trade paperback and this collectible nude cover. You can only get the nude cover on this level.
Right.
It's not like I'm going to be adjusting the campaign, forcing people to buy certain things.
No, for sure.
It's like, so if you just want the trade paperback, if you just want the basic book, those levels are still going to be there. Technically, the campaign doesn't change. You see, that's the thing that I want to really, really stress. Our campaigns are going to be the exact same thing we've always had before. We're going to have the same, the same type of books, the same levels, the same add-ons, the stretch goals. It's going to be what we've always done before and what you're already used to us.
You're just switching from crickets to worms.
Right. It's like we're just changing the image that we're using to represent the campaign, to attract people who wouldn't necessarily like look at a campaign, look at our campaign, but all of a sudden the image intrigues them enough to do it. Right. And you know what? And it's like, and Joe, it's like, you're like a prime example. It's like, you're a guy who's constantly telling me, that you never would have collected fantasy books. You don't like fantasy books, but you needed Eagle Raven for a reason. Eagle Raven hooked into you. That's what we're trying to do with everybody else. We're trying to hook into them. And you know what? And if it requires me to get like a piece where, Eagle Raven is probably a little sexier than she is in the comic, yeah, why not? You know, I mean, am I really harming the image of the book? No, not really. I'm not.
No.
You know, so that's kind of thing. So it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like in the end, it's like, is JD putting, you know, Diane front and center on a story where she's more of a background character? Well, does it really do any harm? You know, no, you know, really, it kind of doesn't. I mean, it's kind of like maybe a hit to the ego, but that's a completely different thing and unrelated to actually selling comics.
She's still his baby.
Yeah, exactly. You
And
know,
his baby grew up and it's hot.
yeah, you know, so, you know, so it's like, so yeah, so, you know, when you look at your campaigns, you know, so it's like, look, do your campaigns the way you're always going to do them, but really take in consideration what people see when they're scrolling on that front page. You know, remember, there's usually there's usually about 5,000 people launching campaigns at the same time you are. How are you going to stand out from that crowd? You know, and are you, like I said, willing to do the, you know, that kind of little tweaking, as unsavory as it may seem in the beginning? Are you willing to do that if you knew it was going to bring more eyeballs to your project? You know, so that's my lesson for the week today. So something for everybody to ruminate over for the weekend. So any final thoughts on this?
I'm good. I'm good.
Right. So for Monday, do we have who do we have scheduled for Monday?
Monday we have Avalon Comics.
Oh, there you go.
No,
Wait,
no. Wait.
Oh,
I gotta look at this.
okay. So there you go. We usually have interviews on Monday.
We do, but
Right.
my calendar's weird right now.
Okay, so there we go. So you know what? Join us.
Avalon Comics was Monday. Check them out.
Yeah, it was on Monday. Yeah, we did Avalon Comics already. So so on that note, I hope you all got something out of that. Like I said, I'm still, you know, I'm still kind of not as squicky, but you know, but I'm feeling a bit better about it. You know, and yes, TR2TV is something to grow on. It absolutely is. So yeah, but you know what? That's the price we pay for the books we make, for the stories we want to tell, and for being on a platform that kind of forces us to think this way to get attention. So, you know, that's kind of how it goes. But that's what we're here for. We're here to try to help you navigate these choppy waters. You know, and you know what? It's like, look, in the end, as long as you're getting people to read your book and to buy your book, read your book, and all that, that's what matters, right? That's what counts. So, you know, that's, as you know what, as long as we could still see the heart in your project, an image is not going to kill it. You know, it's like, you know, a little image just to attract attention is not going to kill it. So you know what? Yeah, we need to get over ourselves and just promote our books. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us on this Friday. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I always love seeing your 2 cents, you know, and like I said, and thank you. I mean, look, sometimes the chat is all I have to kind of like calm me down, because it's just a lot of big brains in there, a lot of thinking, and, you know, and sometimes I need the chat to do the thinking for me, so, you know, to make me feel better. So thank you, chat, for doing your part. So, and yes, and I want to thank the 5 secret people who are watching us. I saw that there were 7 at some point, but I guess since we're now hitting at the 10, we're not hitting at the end of the show. Everyone has things to do, which is fine. So do I. So thank you for watching us. And on that note, if you want to see more about you want to see more of my work and know more about me and my campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. Look at me forgetting my words. And while you're at egoworks.com, you can also read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Air the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format. If you need more convincing as to whether this is a book you want to support on Kickstarter when it goes live in August, you can read that there. Just remember that there's going to be some slight differences between that version and the version that's on Kickstarter, especially the part where the Kickstarter version isn't full color. So that's the biggest that's the biggest reason to support the Kickstarter. But you can check out the Eagle Raven on eagleworks.com. But if you prefer your fantasy to be Marvel Lord of the Rings type of adventure, you can follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And remember, you have until Wednesday morning to still support the campaign for volumes 1 through 4, which collects those very same 20 issues in an excellent trade paperback format, 4 volumes, making up the entire story arc. So you can check out that campaign in the show notes below. We always have a link to that, so you can check that out. So Nita, where can the people find you?
On social media as @C_chaos247 or Nita Lanning, or just Google Creating Chaos 24/7. I show up somewhere on that first page.
There you go. So there we go. So again, thank you everybody for joining us on this Friday. I hope you all have a really good weekend. And in the words of the immortals, remember, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, it doesn't matter if you have a big titty pinup on the front of your Kickstarter. It's like, look.
That's not your words, Daphne.
It is not the words of the immortals. No. Do the work. As long as you're doing the work, you never have to fake your accomplishments. So on that, we will see you later.
I hit the button.